challenges facing humanity within and without Kenya. Tonight we focus on the ongoing battles in the leadership of Kenyan political parties, that is the ruling party Jubilee and the Orange Democratic Movement. The top Jubilee leadership this week swung into action and changed the Senate leadership, which saw Elgeyo Marakwet Senator Kipchumba Murkomen and Susan Kihika of Nakuru County losing their posts of Majority Leader and Chief Whip respectively. Narok Senator Ledamo Lekina is involved in a tough battle with the leadership of ODM after ODM party through Minority Leader James Orengo wrote to the Speaker protesting Ledama's election as the chairperson of the county Public Accounts and Investments Committee. Many have had different interpretations of these happenings in the two largest political parties in Kenya. But what exactly is cooking behind the scenes? Tonight we are joined by Mr. Edgar Kosgei, a political analyst, and Mr. Isaac Wabuge, who is a policy analyst. My name is Cornelius Omuse, and I welcome you to join us till the end of this discussion. Gentlemen, welcome to our show tonight.
Thank you very much.
Briefly, you will tell us how is everything going on, especially the corona pandemic? How are people faring on in your different localities in brief before we embark on tonight's topic?
Thank you so much, Cornelius, for having me for the second time or third time with CAC TV. Thank you very much, CAC TV, for the opportunity to air our personal opinions. Yes, corona has been a disaster in our country. It has given us uncharted waters. We are wearing masks right now. Things we used to see the Chinese doing. We are Africans, and we are not used to these things. Corona is killing people, especially in the countries outside Africa. They are digging 1,000 graves and beyond per day. In fact, even they are using excavators to dig graves, which is a sorry state. They expected Africa to fall below those countries. But we are doing well by the grace of God. God has been good to us, and we hope that this pandemic will be over very soon. Yes.
So people within your localities, are they resuming work into normal or bado wamejifungia kwa nyumba?
Well, people are still in the houses. People are still in the houses. We are seeing the government trying to reorganize people, trying to get committees to come together to see the possibility of opening workplaces. But people have not gone out. Like me, I have been indoors for a very long time. I've not gone out, and we all stopped working a long time ago. And we hope that the number 700 will start reducing. The daily casualties will start going down so that we can have a normal life again. But I don't think we are going to have any normal life very soon, because I can't shake your hand. I can't shake his hand. And I am so careful when even I meet my friends. And it will take a long time before I start shaking their hands, even if we say now corona is out.
Let's hope that things will cooperate. Mr. Wabuge, how is your locality in summary?
Yes, the pandemic is real. The ramification of this pandemic, I think, it's going to be with us for quite some time. And all that we are praying for is that we get solution to this. One is that the deaths have been significant. It's quite unfortunate. Global death rates has been big. When you think of 2,000 people dying daily in the US, that is scary. As my brother Edgar just put it clearly, that excavators are now being used for burial sites and everything. That is very scary. And for our country, yeah, people are still indoors. It's not easy. We have seen a rise in cases of domestic violence. That I think quite unfortunate. We are just praying that things settle down, because mental health has also been an issue, and that's why we are all seeing these things happening. And what worries me is that there are children in those houses, and I'm just wondering what lessons are these children drawing from all these. So it is quite a crisis, but we are praying. We are praying that we get a solution. And above all this, I'm also a bit happy on the other side, seeing African countries taking the take on getting the medicine and solution to this pandemic. I'm seeing what is happening in Madagascar, and I'm just wondering, is it is also an opportunity for us to be an element of Afro-optimism, that we can get these solutions from Africa.
And be the trailblazers. We hope for the best. Now, back to our topic.
Now, can I weigh in on that one first?
We'll come back into that.
Right.
Now, back to our topic, gentlemen. We are seeing very serious war in Jubilee Party. A few days ago, we saw the president swinging into action and changing the leadership. So we wish to know your analysis as political analysts. Where do you think is the source of all these troubles we are seeing in the Jubilee Party? So we'll go into ODM also briefly.
Okay.
What do you think originates all these matters in Jubilee?
All these matters are coming from BBI. Obuge is laughing.
What about BBI?
This handshake has brought many things. And BBI has to pass whether you like it or not. And right now that we can't have a referendum, as Akina Obuge wished to have a referendum, you can't have it right now. But you have to have a BBI, whether you like it or not. So Parliament is going to be used to rubber stamp the BBI and the Senate too. It is also part of the succession politics. This is a fight Ruto scheme. And Ruto has to be fought. Ruto has to get out. Ruto has to be out of the ballot papers come 2022. If Ruto wasn't there, this war would not have been here. Murkomen should not take this war personally. It is not about Murkomen or Kihika or anyone else. It is all about the number 2 in the country who is deemed to be someone who will inherit the seat in the year 2022.
Let's get to Abuge's script. Where is the source?
Basically, what is happening in Jubilee is a normal politics in any political party. These are political settings. This is a country of democracy, and Jubilee is playing into the democratic space of this country. So whatever is happening is not something that unexpected. It is where, from one angle, the president trying to take charge of his party. You can remember that the 2010 constitution, which we laud as the most progressive constitution globally, changed the narrative when it comes to the vice president and the deputy president. Initially, years back, that's why a Kenyatta-Jaramogi partnership didn't work, because of a very strong leader in Jaramogi and a very strong leader in Kenyatta. There was a fight of egos there at that point. And when the script was realized, the next formation of vice president, you were to look for a weaker person. And that's why Kenyatta looked for Moi. That's why Moi was looking for people like Murumbi, who was Murumbi in the political orders of that day. That's why Moi was looking for people like Kibaki. Who was Kibaki in the political setting of that day? Came in Saitoti, a nobody. But you see, a 2010 constitution gave the deputy president as a principal assistant to who? To the president. Meaning that this person comes in with so much power on him. And it's not just power, but it meant that for you to successfully win an election in Kenya, you must have some form of a coalition. So President Kenyatta had his strength on TNA. William Ruto had the strength on URP. They came together in a coalition. So in the first 5 years, it was easier because we were still terming it a coalition of URP and TNA. When the run-up to 2017, I want to engage Edgar to go look for Alfred Keter. And publicly, the URP wing to publicly apologize to Alfred Keter. Who warned them? Who warned them and told them of the impending danger in breaking down the URP wing of it. So they went in as a Jubilee party, but there was still some ego in there. Now the run-up to this, William Ruto on this end knew that the President Kenyatta was finishing his term, so he needs to position himself for the next term. So he started by making his own lieutenants across the political divide and inside the party, which didn't go well with others who blamed him for their losses from the primaries of the Jubilee. So as much as they made it to win the election, he had already messed up very many people. But what they realized is that coming up into the country, that we were facing a very divided country. We were on the verge of actually the most divisive ever country. And the president had worked, he wouldn't rule a certain percent of the country. That's why the handshake came in. Now, the biggest mess that happened is the deputy president and the lieutenant started questioning the handshake so much. But yet, you know, when you are finishing your term, there's this element of your legacy. Atuli has told us over and again, Uhuru is too young. He might not be planning on running for president again, but he will want to play a role in his post-presidency as a statesperson. So he has to work on his legacy. But now it became hard for him working on his legacy when his principal assistant is in the field campaigning, putting the nation in an electioneering mood. So he had to take a step. That's why we are seeing all these changes happening. It is just a case of trying to reorganize your government. It's just a case of trying to realize that post-COVID-19 will not need politicking. It will need serious work. It will need people to roll their sleeves and go down and think, how are we getting this economy back? So what the president did for me, I fully support it. And it's a high time, the other side of the political divide, where my brother is, to realize that this country is bigger than individual egos and pride. So we have to place our country first.
Before we go further, Edgar began by talking of BBI and the handshake. Handshake occurred in the year 2018, few months after the 2017 general elections. So you will have to tell us if at all these people vied in one party. Then 5 months down the line, was it that when it was discovered that number 2 was running very fast? The timing. Our focus here is on the timing.
It is all written, and that's why I gave you the history of the past vice presidents. These were people who are very calm to fully support the agenda of the president.
So let's get answers. Has the deputy president been supporting the president's agenda?
Of course. He is the principal assistant of the president.
That's constitutionally, but him as a person who has been occupying that office, has he been supporting the president's agenda as Mr. Obuge is saying like something has not been happening?
Obuge is speaking for ODM. And we know when it quacks like a duck, then it's a duck. So it's an ODM thing.
So can you substantiate whether he's been supporting the president's agenda or not?
He has not been fully supporting the president's agenda. When the president says, let's stop politicking, let's concentrate on building the nation, let's concentrate on the big 4 agenda. But then the deputy president, each and every other day, you are in an electioneering mood, crisscrossing the entire country with all this following of these members of parliament. And what is the agenda there? The agenda is 2022 politics. In fact, I must say that the president was too patient for quite a long time with all this. We needed him to have acted ages ago. In fact, we are blaming him for this mess. He needed to have taken authority as a leader in this country by that time to align things.
Let's hear Edgar.
Yes.
The deputy president's moves, have they been contradicting, or is it the cause of all these things, and has he been doing it in bad faith?
You're saying
his moves that Mr. Obuge is saying he's been outshining his boss.
Yes. The deputy president has to prepare himself for his own life, for his own 2022 succession and everything. Power is usually taken. Power is never given. And if he was going to wait for the president to hand him over power, then he would have been a fool. So he had to look for a way in which to get himself out there and to get to sell himself out there. What the ODM fraternity is doing right now is it's happy because the same things that were done to ODM before are being done right now to William Ruto. So everyone has to test how is it to be done for and fairly. William Ruto had to hit the ground, had to run, and had to marshal his people to support him in 2022. We have seen how the system right now is, how the system is unfair, how even the private members are voting, how you have a coalition without National Executive Council. And one Wabuge, who is supposed to be a leader of the Luo community, is justifying an injustice that has been done because an injustice was done to Raila Odinga. So right now they are saying it is good. He should condemn evil. He should condemn evil right now that William Ruto is being. Let me finish it. Let me finish.
Then you come in.
These people on the other side, Orengo, led by Orengo, they should condemn evil. Because evil is evil. If you heard very well Kipchumba Murkomen said, you might not know where I will be tomorrow. Right now you are doing, Kipchumba Murkomen is waiting to revenge. For how long? Are we going to wait to go to a higher level, then we revenge, then we now talk like the ODM people, the way they are talking right now? And let me tell you one thing. William Ruto might not win by the ballot. This country might not be changed by the ballot. The IEBC might not change this country. Because the things that we have seen the president doing, having a coup of the Jubilee in State House, without photos, with fake names, shows you that shows you that what is going to happen is that kufumba na kufumbua. Kanu, we have a president in Kanu, Gideon Moi. He's president.
Let's hear from
First of all, allow me to tell you my brother. Photography is not constitutional. So there's no article in the Constitution that says a photo that was supposed to have been taken in the State House of the senators for us to know that actually a meeting took place.
The ODM.
I'm actually not an ODM sympathizer or any case. I'm giving my own opinion that we don't need photos. Maybe the meeting happened by Zoom. Why are you acting as if
or helicopters
technology that is happening? Right now, people are meeting via Zoom. What if the senators met via Zoom and confirmed that? So what we are trying to say is that it is not in me to determine to condemn an injustice. Yet the Speaker of the Senate confirmed that indeed there were signatures of senators, and I've not heard any senator come out. By now, senators will have had press conferences and say, my name appears on that list, but I want to state categorically that I was not part of that. I've not seen anything. I'm just seeing this letter by Susan Kihika going around. I've not seen any person deny they were not there. So, what is happening in Jubilee is democracy at its best.
It was a carcinogenic ruling.
And democracy at its best determines that sometimes when your leadership, when the president wants to align his agenda, and you're not supporting the president's agenda, it is in the public that Murkomen has not been supporting the president's agenda. It is in the public domain that there's too much saltiness among people because of the handshake and everything. At some point, this country was on the tipping point. We needed an agenda to help us navigate the post-election issues that were there. And the handshake played into it. And we got the BBI. So, even during the BBI, these people, the other side of the political divide, through propaganda, started coming up with things that weren't there. When the draft came up, everyone was like, okay, this is something debatable. This is something we can work on. This is something, these are good bone, we can put meat on it and see where it takes us. So, the issue here is, there has been too much politicking in the ruling party. There has been no loyalty in the party.
Mm-hmm.
And if at all, let me just conclude something here, Father, before your question comes. And if at all, you see, the most unfortunate comment that I've had from my brother Edgar today is that William Ruto is looking for power. I'm surprised not about leadership.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised not about service to the people. It is the element of power.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, he gets it totally wrong. We are in a position in a country whereby we need leadership. And you don't have to mess up an agenda because you are making up your lieutenants to capture power.
Mm-hmm.
I know the Bible very well says the kingdom suffereth violence and the Russians will take it by force. That is where my brother is arguing.
You're misquoting the Bible.
Now, guys, before we go for a short commercial break, there's something we want to know here from the two of you. What is coming out clearly is that there are two centers of power. One vehicle, two drivers with one steering wheel. That is where we are realizing the problem emanated.
Yes.
But from the two of you, let's see, were there no any other avenues that the two drivers, the senior driver and the assistant driver, could come together and find a way forward before things coming to where it is? But because it's getting murky. Let's hear from Edgar. Could the two drivers come together and say, hii gari tuipeleke kwa njia hii?
William Ruto is a spent cartridge. Overdone out. When 2017 election was over, he was a spent cartridge. That's why he reached over to his party chairman, party leader. There were no two drivers, per se. These people were core. These people came into the party together, and they were driving this vehicle together. And this party was a coalition of equals and coalition of partners. That's why you had Jubilee fold, the URP fold, and this one, the Alliance Party fold. And all those other parties folded. And they came in as brothers. If you can see the history of William Ruto and Kenyatta, they go way back, where Makta was being told this and this. When he came in, he stood by him, even in 2002. These people have been brothers for a very long time. So
from the beginning, you talked of spent cartridge.
Yeah.
Why
William Ruto is a spent cartridge because he can't help in anything, in any way. Uhuru Kenyatta does not need William Ruto anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So succession politics is just like that. And I'm glad William Ruto is not taking it personally. And I want to tell the soldiers behind William Ruto not to take this one personally. Mm-hmm. If you're defeated, you are defeated. And Jubilee did not have two drivers. Now, the ODM fraternity and the president has been putting corruption allegations on the head of William Ruto. Mm-hmm. And they were about to stick until some people discovered that this is a ploy. Mm-hmm. The murder charges of Kene, all these things. And they are going to make him look really dirty. And the most unfortunate thing is an intellectual in front of me, someone I'm hopeful about, to lead the Luya nation once, is the big name Wabuge. Is praising mudslinging by the DCI and the DPP, and right now, even before you take it away from me, the online bloggers will be dealt a blow. The people following William Ruto will see fire. Even those ones in the National Assembly right now. Now, you can tell me how we can tolerate evil as leaders. Even if we come from the other side, we can cheer it right now. Because we cheered on the other time. Right now, it's their time to eat. Congratulations, my brother.
In part two of the show, we'll look into that, whereby leo huyu yako kikangioni, kesho huyu yako. But before we break, Mr. Obuge, there's one thing we want to get it clear, and then we shall come back. There's been that notion, and even some of the admissions, that William Ruto has got a higher number of senators and members of parliament. True or not? Yes or no, with no substantiation.
Doesn't have numbers.
He has numbers. Didn't you see?
Let me tell you.
This was a forged list.
Let me tell you.
Yes.
I'm still asking. I've not seen anybody coming out to say my name is on that list and I was not part of it.
Oh my God, ODM.
I've not seen any person who has come out. So these numbers that these people have been talking about, it is an illusion. It is a mirage.
Mm-hmm.
It is a mirage. As in, it's quite unfortunate that they keep on talking of these numbers.
They had to hire the card members.
Where I don't know where these numbers are. You see the fact that you always have people following political rallies, and we know it is not something that is not in the public domain. We know we have members of parliament who have been given a bribe in the toilet. It has been in the news. So William Ruto has been having imaginary numbers that has been giving him the strength to chest down. But when the rubber meets the road, when the reality hits,
we call Kanu.
These numbers are not there. Kanu came in independently to form a post-election coalition. That's the way I'm hearing Wiper is also on that route. That one is democracy.
We have a list, and the list came out of 22 senators out of 35.
The unfortunate bit that Edgar is not appreciating is this is democracy at play. If today we want to engage ourselves with the highest tidal wave when it comes to matters of democratic excellence, like in the US, Joe Biden supported the agenda of Barack Obama for 2 terms. And he did not have to start now saying that I want to inherit the next until the term is over. So after a 4-year period, that's when he comes in. If at all the ambition is so genuine, what was the problem with coming down, supporting the agenda, run up to end of 2021, he announces himself and he's endorsed for that. Another thing, in this kind of a generation that we have, I've said it, let me say it again, Edgar. We have one of the most progressive constitutions globally that has brought in institutions and structures. So the DCI and DPP don't have time to mudsling. These are independent offices carrying out, executing their duties. And when there's an issue, they have to go about it. We don't have to politicize everything. So I will ask you
to take us for a break.
So you guys are agreeing that there have been that power struggles between the leadership of the Jubilee Party. Now, there is this issue of Ledama Lekina. We are coming briefly into that. We'll also be looking at how he's going to fare on this matter with the ODM party, because he came out and spoke of they're joking with the wrong person. We go for a short commercial break. Tonight we are looking into this matter of Jubilee Party in good extent and also the ODM party. Is it convenience or is it party hygiene? Is it 2022 politics? And how is it going to have an impact on the Kenyan political landscape? You can engage us on our social media platform, Facebook, CAC TV Kenya. Twitter is CAC TV_Kenya. Keep it on CAC TV.
Tunasikitika kutangaza kifo cha Solomon Mbogori. Solomon amepumzika akiwa na miaka 81. Alikuwa amelazwa katika hospitali ya PCEA Tumutumu. Ni mume wa marehemu Charity Mbogori na pamoja walijaliwa watoto 9: Julia Kadhure, Daniel Moria, Moses Mburugu, marehemu Elijah Murungi, Florence Kadhambi, marehemu Beatrice Karumi, Grace Gatwiri, Joshua Mwenda na Henry Mbaya. Ni baba mkwe wa Samuel Muthe, Hudson Kinywa, Mary Moria, Lydia Mburugu na Carol Mwenda. Solomon Mbogori ni baba ya marehemu Solomon Kimathi, John Kirimi, Geoffrey Gitonga, Frida Kinya, Eric Mugambi, Lawrence Murigi, Nicholas Kirimi, Shalom Kawira, Chabod Kimaita, Alpha Kinoti, Caleb Murithi na Joy Mwendwa. Mwendwa Kirimi, Mukiri Kirimi, Daniel Kirinya, Finlay Gitonga, Emmanuel Gitonga, Prince Muriuki na Princess Nkadha ni vitukuu wa Solomon Mbogori. Mazishi ya marehemu itafanyika Jumamosi ya tarehe 16 mwezi Mei mwaka huu nyumbani kwake Marurui, kaunti ya Meru. Kutoka runinga ya KAK tunasema makiwa kwa jamaa na marafiki. Tunasikitika kutangaza kifo cha Priscilla Wanjiru Muhinya, mtoto wa marehemu Shadrack Ng'ang'a na Sofia Wangari. Priscilla ni mke wa marehemu Solomon Muhinya na pamoja walijaliwa watoto 11. Marehemu Rachel Njeri, Sophie, Revkimani Muhinya, Elda Ng'ang'a, Edith Wamaitha, Jennifer Mumbi, Ruben Kamau, Margaret Nyambura, Tabitha Njoki, Zipora Wangui na Faith Wairimu. Ni ndugu ya marehemu Ruben Kamau, Gitau, Ndungu, Njuguna, Muturi, Gashure na Njoroge. Ni mama mkwe wa Kamau, Kiyu, Esther Kimani, mwalimu mkuu wa shule upili ya wasichana Kipkoris, Evangelist Rachel Ng'ang'a, Murai Kinyanjui, Wambui, Kiarie, Kangethe, Gishuki na Pastor Ben Kishemu. Priscilla Wanjiru Muhinya ni nyanya wa jukuu 43 na vitukuu 21. Mazishi ya mwenda zake itafanyika Ijumaa hii ya tarehe 15 mwezi Mei katika kijiji cha Gathanji, Othaya, kaunti ya Nyeri kuanzia saa 5 asubuhi. Kwa sababu ya janga la corona nchini, watakaokubaliwa kuhudhuria ni familia na jamaa zake. Kutoka runinga ya KAK tunasema makiwa kwa jamaa na marafiki.
Tunataka kuomba Wakenya wote tuzingatie yale serikali imetuomba. Pamoja tunawe mikono, tuweke umbali unaofaa na pia tukae nyumbani. Na kama haiwezekani kukaa nyumbani, unataka kwenda nje, lazima uvae barakoa ili zote tuangamize COVID-19.
All right, many thanks for tuning in to Powerbrief and welcome back after a short break. We are looking into the matter of the Kenyan political parties and especially the big two, the Jubilee Party and the Orange Democratic Movement. Senator Ledamo Lekina is involved into a very tough battle with the Orange Democratic Movement party leadership. Where did this matter begin? Where it is and where it is headed to? We have Mr. Isaac Wabuge, a political analyst, who is flanked by Mr. Edgar Kosgei, who is also a political analyst. And we are digging deep into this matter to bring it to you to understand what is happening in the country, in the political landscape, and what it poses for the future generations in the issue of politics. Gentlemen, there is this issue, people are talking on the streets, that when a hyena wants to eat their own children, it first says that it's smelling like a goat. Ledamo Lekina won this position of the County Investments, Public Investments and Accounts Committee. But as soon as that process was over, we had Orengo, the Senate Minority Leader, writing a letter to the Speaker saying that that thing is not valid. Niyo msemo wa kukula watoto.
No, the funny bit is that this chairman position of committees, especially in the Senate, first of all, I will propose that we need to have an amendment on the standing orders around how these elections are done. Because traditionally, and from the oldest democracies in the world, we always have party position when it comes to composition of the members of the committee. But now the tricky part in Kenya is that the leader, the chairperson of that party comes from minority, but the majority members comes from the majority party. So it sets up perception and opinions from these two parties, because the minority party have their own party agenda and preferred candidate for this role. But they have less numbers who are going to elect this person. So now, it is now setting up a brother against a brother, because in this particular case for Lekina, we had Orange Democratic Party proposing Sam Ongeri. And remember, Sam Ongeri has actually been waiting for this role, because before Kajwang took it again, it was again betrayed on the last minute. Again, Ongeri lost it. So this time, it was a party position. Let's push for Ongeri. Sam Ongeri is an ODM person, but we also know his past in KANU, and so he was a good candidate for both the ruling party through Jubilee, the president, and the hand of the Orange Democratic Party leader, Raila Odinga. But now, that committee had more people allied to the deputy president.
Oh, William is coming.
We are
tired. We are tired, ODM people. We are
a
tired.
political say it's written who
We are tired.
So let's see also from Mr. Edgar.
Let me just finish this point. So it had more people allied to the deputy president, who now wanted to spoil the party, and now came up with this thing, to align and bring in a fresh candidate from ODM, Lekina, who won. I have maximum respect for Lekina as a leader. I know he defends his people with passion. As much as I feel it is wrong for what the State Orengo did, we also, as much as democracy has to be respected, we need to respect that Lekina got this position, and by that fact, support him fully.
Mr. Edgar, was it time for the, as the people say, the proverbial hyena eating the round? Was it time for the Lekina to be eaten?
Did you hear one of the hyenas?
Was it time for Lekina to be eaten?
Yeah. You've heard him. These people eat their own. And if you see how ODM behaves, there are many people who complain about ODM's leadership and lack of democracy in ODM. Yeah. And this
It
time...
didn't lack democracy, it's Orange Democratic Movement. That's the name.
Yeah, that is the irony in it. Everyone, many of my friends, I can even mention many of them, we've had a session with them. They're saying, the democracy in ODM, you just have to align yourself with Baba. That's when you can be given something substantial. If you don't go to Baba, there's nothing you get. So if Wabuge votes, there's nothing. Or Wabuge's vote is null and void. So Senator Ledamo Lekina touched a very sensitive topic of the land question. The land question touches very sensitive people in this country. And that land question was killed in 1973 when they formed Andungu Report. And that is where Kenya went to the dogs. When they decided that that land can be used in a certain way in the country. So Ledama has been so keen on the land question in the country. And that's why he's been deemed as someone who is not loyal to the party. Because right now, ODM people and Jubilee people are one people.
Which Jubilee, including the Murkomen camp? Which Jubilee? Do we have one Jubilee?
Yeah, I'm trying to explain it to you. Okay, ODM people and President Kenyatta are one. Okay, I think now it's clear now.
Why are you sounding...
I'm actually addressing the chair. So what happened is, Ledama had to be ousted. One, because she was fronted by the nominated lady, Millicent Omanga. Yes, this lady. And Ledama Lekina said that he also felt that he was going to be a good choice for the leadership of auditing the government. That is a position of the opposition. And the opposition has to be in that investment committee to see how things are running by the leading party. So it can't be a seat of any other person. It can just be a seat of an ODM candidate, because they have to audit. Those are the auditors. They have to look at how the government is running. So Ledama comes from ODM. And Ledama has been critical of William Ruto. Ledama made sure that Kipsigis in Narok are chased out of Mauland. He played a major part with the Minister for Environment. It's called, yes, the Minister for Environment right now. He played a major part in ousting the Kalenjins, and that one was meant to rattle William Ruto in the Mau issue. So he is not a William Ruto man at all. In fact, the Kalenjins in Narok South are being chased by Ledama. Olekina. He's saying that people have come here and they have squatters. So Ledama is not William Ruto's man at all. What they are doing is that they are eating their children, and they just don't want to tell us.
Now, the matter is in court.
Oh yeah.
And he has already assumed that position. He is serving it. He has had
Oh yes. He
now,
went
do
and
you think he
was
will
overruled.
overcome the storm? Will he overcome that storm and remain the chair?
Storms in Kenya are dictated by I don't know what. It is either you overcome it or you don't overcome it.
Olekina is a good
Will he overcome that storm?
Olekina is a good student
have that
of politics,
seat?
and I'm sure he's going to overcome this. He has reached out to his party leader, which is the logical and the most respectful thing to do, as opposed to other crybabies who think social media is a way to fight political battles. No, when you have an issue, you reach out to the leadership of the party, and that's where issues have been coming. Olekina has proven to be a leader. When he has faced this challenge with his minority leader in parliament, he has taken this battle to Baba's footstep, to the party leader. So,
He mentioned the party leader.
yes, I totally vote for Olekina to head this position.
He does.
Deep down my heart, he's going to do it. I know he is a leader. I know he is a good leader and quite young blood. So I'm hoping that the party leader and the party will do the right decision. Yes.
Now, let's get back to Jubilee. Here is where there's a lot of fire. You know, in ODM, let's say, as at now, it's only one individual, Ledama. We don't
They
have
eat
to
themselves
go.
and you forget about them.
The river is still flowing. Let's get back to Jubilee. There is this notion, and even today in the Dailies, one of the national newspaper was talking that Raila has got a big hand on these changes that are happening in the leadership of Jubilee Party. Do you agree with that sentiment and attributing that to his past? Do you agree with that sentiment?
Yes, I agree with that sentiment because of the coalition pact or the handshake that Raila has with the president.
The pact was made public, or from hearsay?
The handshake, we saw them handshaking.
Yeah, they
And that was a pact.
But the details of the pact.
Yeah. Now that maybe Raila was paid or something. We don't know the details of the pact, and I don't want to talk about that. But what I'm saying is, the president doesn't need Ruto right now. The president needs Raila more than he needs Ruto right now. For him to be peaceful, for him to sleep peacefully, for him to run his businesses. The president is a stakeholder in the Kenyan business community. So the president could not be resisted. He had to look for the handshake for him not to be resisted anymore. And the country calmed down. And Raila came now with his story of kicking out William Ruto.
Let's get to Mr. Wabuge. Is Raila having a hand in organizing or disorganizing, depending from where you sit, the Jubilee Party leadership as of now?
No, not at all. What is happening in Jubilee is normal party politics. Is where two brothers have fallen out. Is where the battle of the egos has been there for quite a while and has gotten to a place that it can't move past where it is. So these are just reactions. There is no Raila's hands in this Jubilee fiasco. Any good student of politics will have seen this years back. That we were having a deputy president who was too powerful than the president himself. We had a deputy president who was launching major and capital projects at the expense of the president, only for State House to come and distance themselves from this.
As a principal assistant.
So, It just showed that there was some form of these people weren't working together well. So what we are seeing right now is a president who has realized that for him to steady this ship and complete his term, he must stabilize his party. He must stabilize his leadership in parliament and the Senate. So Raila Odinga, as Wamalo Kijana put some years back, there is Raila mania and there is Raila phobia. So the other side of the Tanga side of Jubilee, as we know, Jubilee is divided into two. Tanga side, where my brother Edgar belongs.
And Kieleweke, where he belongs.
Yeah, the Raila phobia people, who everything that happens, even when they have a challenge in their constituency, they'll see a Raila hand in it. This is quite unfortunate. It's a high time people should accept that failure is part of this game. And sometimes when you have been beaten and found flat-footed, you go back to the drawing board and strategize. We have had people who have strategized and come back stronger. William Ruto is a strong contender for 2022. Very strong. We wish him all the best. He just needs to change a few mouthpieces. Yeah, he needs to have strong people who speak on his behalf.
Strong.
And drop too much tweeting. Kenyan politics is not about tweeting. It's about who speaks. It's about who speaks for you. So he just needs to change the advisors, change his lieutenants who are backing him, and have people who have the authority to speak their minds out. That way he'll get his foot back.
Now, in summary from both of you, what does Ruto's silence means on what is happening? Because there are people who've been comparing him with the Grand Coalition government when Raila was with the President Kibaki. They're saying, Raila, you could do this. If it's appointment, you could have come out and told you, I'm not satisfied with this. So people are wondering, because they say still waters runs deep. Political analysts, what does that silence imply?
Ruto is not Raila. And he will never be Raila. ODM people are clueless, as you have seen. Clueless! They don't know even where they are headed to. They don't know. But I want to tell you this. William Ruto, whether he wins or not, we don't care. Okay? But what he's doing is putting forward a best foot forward so that he will be on the best position to win. Whether they steal from him like they have stolen from the Senate, it's fine. We don't care about it. He should not even come out and make noise. It is not, from where I come from, let me explain the Kalenjin community. From there, where I come from, we don't throw stones. We don't quarrel in public. And we come out way later to come and sort things out. So let them not compare us with Raila Odinga. We are not.
Now we are trying to look at what is the silence of Ruto implying.
The silence of Ruto implies that he has his own strategy, which is not like other people's strategies. Let me finish. Silence for William Ruto is very strategic. It's very strategic because it is playing out before Kenyans that one, there can be an unfairness that is happening. And they don't know they are building William Ruto. They show people how unfair you can play with State House, yet the local person can read it except the ODM people who are busy singing Osana, Shangwe, and Remo for an illegality.
The Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya is in a cul-de-sac. He can't move forward, he can't go back. He is in a tight position. And the best thing he can do is to resign from government.
Under what circumstances in this perspective? Because you must have reasons to resign.
The reason is that he has lost the trust of his boss. And that is internationally and all and developed democracies, if you have lost trust with your boss, you have no business being his principal assistant. You step aside. it will not be the first time. Let him man up and take the same stand that Jaramogi took when he fell out with the President Kenyatta.
And what does the Constitution say when a deputy president resigns in this arrangement of the Constitution of Kenya 2010?
Well, there must be a replacement in which the ODM is hoping it will be Raila. They're hoping, they're praying, they've been fasting. Look at them.
So, Buge, is that a true statement?
No,
that you're salivating for the seat?
Not at all. One thing that has come out clear from the handshake, and the president has addressed himself about it, is that him and Raila have never spoken about positions and about succession politics. For them, it's about uniting the country and enabling the right environment for everybody to do his thing and excel. So there's nobody who is aiming at the position of the deputy president, but leadership dictates that when you lose the trust of your senior, you have no business deputizing him. Yeah.
Now, this thing is happening at a time when we are facing a lot of things globally actually. And recently, certain politicians stood and said that politics has to go on because even during the Spanish flu, politics did not stop. As a country, shall we be able to handle these tough battles of the succession politics and the floods and the economic recovery and what have you? Should one be suspended and another one be approached, or how can it be done? Can politics run concurrently with the calamities that we are facing?
We were hoping that they were not going to shake the waters during the pandemic, but the president is the one who has drawn the first blood, who made sure that he has called people to State House and made changes and all of those things. First, when the Kirinyaga County MCAs tried to impeach Anne Waiguru, the Kieleweke side, they brought in the measures of COVID-19 and they said social distancing and stuff. But when they are doing it right now, they are not even looking at those measures. They can do whatever they want because they are the ones who are running the country. Yeah. So when they run the country like that in double standards, then you look at now the situation in the country in terms of the pandemic. What is happening with this pandemic that is happening here? No social distancing and stuff. So they can pull that measure on the other side and they can practice that on this side. So politics is politics and they can do whatever they want.
So it depends on which catches you, either the right hand or the wrong.
You just
now
have to do the right side.
Can these all issues run concurrently?
Leadership is a foregoing concern. The interest of this country is of foregoing concern. So as much as we are having the pandemic in place, we will overcome this and leadership will be necessary going forward. So what we are speaking into is trying to think of a post-COVID-19 kind of government. Why? Because there will be too much pressure. There has been job losses. School at home, the academic calendar has been messed up with. Literally everything has been shut down. Post this needs serious and sound leadership. And so that's why we cannot sit pretty and say we shouldn't reorganize ourselves. The government shouldn't reorganize themselves just because we have a pandemic. This pandemic we are going to overcome it, and leadership will be necessary going forward. I'll conclude by a basic engagement that happened in the Rome Empire. When Brutus, a friend to Julius Caesar, after Brutus had slayed Julius Caesar, and he went to defend himself before the courts, he told the people, it's not that I loved Julius Caesar less, but I love Rome more. So we are calling upon leaders who will go beyond friendship, who will go beyond engagements that don't serve the country and say, it's not that I love so and so less, but I love Kenya more. And by loving Kenya more, I'll place a demand on patriotism and loyalty as a leader to make necessary changes that will bring a sound leadership post-COVID-19.
Mr. Edgar, is your heart with the people, the patriotism, or you're patriotic to a particular cause, an individual? Because he has actually taken himself out of any blame. He says he's with the people. Are you with the people or with the person?
He's with the person.
As you confused, are you for the people or the party that stands for the people or a person?
Well, I have to stand where right is. I have to stand where right is. If he's explaining himself with the people, then that is his explanation.
Now,
and you can't use his explanation to ask me a question. Now, let me tell you this. Let us stand on the side of truth. Whether the truth is on the side of the people, it doesn't matter. But where the truth is, we will stand there. The people might be wrong. Yeah.
The rights of the people.
Anything right.
So you are for anything right?
Anything that is right, we will stand with it.
Whether it is
with the minority,
or politician with them,
or whether it is with the minority or it is with the majority, let us stand with truth. Let us stand with what is right, as we move forward. Otherwise, lies have a way of coming up.
Then briefly, are we on political parties hygiene or convenience as we wound up?
I am a believer of ideology. I'm a believer of following party structures. And that is what speaks into ideology. But my colleague, the other side, is there for political convenience, unfortunately.
Edgar, you for political convenience?
No, I don't understand when you ask that. Because the way he has answered it, he has answered it in a different way. You're asking whether people are doing things for political convenience.
All of us, or a good population of us as a country, are we handling political convenience or party hygiene, the ideologies? Where are we, majority of us?
What is happening in our political parties is quite unfortunate because you try to reach certain ends using certain, by bending certain things. I don't know whether you mean that. Yeah.
Well, maybe just to point out something. What basically I engage when I talk of party ideology is that we don't have to oppose the government or the agenda of the government just for the sake of it. I'm reminded when there was a vote about Obamacare in the US, and Senator McCain was in his wheelchair, and the scrap had been put in place through the Republican. He was able to say no to it. That is what speaks to a kind of an ideology. That an ideology is not just for convenience because I want numbers to support this cause, but what is in it for the people. Yes.
Thank you, gentlemen. Our discussion comes to the end tonight. It's been an engaging moment, an insightful moment from Mr. Edgar Kosgei and Mr. Isaac Wabuge. We also appreciate your overwhelming responses and contributions on our social media platforms. Kenya will stand, Africa will stand, but without you, it can never stand. And that's why on Powerbrief, we are ever here to ensure that we bring topics and debates that concerns you on matters, politics, and governance. Till next Thursday, from me, Cornelius Omuse, I wish you a good night.
Tunasikitika kutangaza kifo cha Solomon Bogori. Solomon amepumzika akiwa na miaka 80.